Hello everyone, today is August 21st, 2019, 6:01 a.m. It is 79 degrees Fahrenheit, 26 degrees Celsius, and I am in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I will take you on a walk of the French Quarter today, and maybe some part of the Frenchmen Street. Yes, I am in New Orleans, not New York City today, which I'm originally from. This is the famous Roosevelt Hotel. So New Orleans is the city that's known for its distinct music, Creole cuisine, unique dialect, Mardi Gras, party atmosphere. It's also nicknamed the Big Easy, and also known for the French and Spanish architecture. Magic hour is just about to come up, or golden hour. The sun hasn't risen yet, and I'm out here walking New Orleans for you all. The locals call this place New Orleans, not New Orleans, so I assume that's the proper way to say it. But here's Canal Street, one of the main roads of the area. It also has streetcars running through it. So what I'll do is I will take you to Canal Street, to Bourbon Street, which isn't too far away from where I'm staying at the Airbnb. But it's described as the most unique in the United States. A lot of different cultural and multi-ethnic history here. Pretty crazy. New Orleans was founded in 1718 by French colonists, and it was actually the territorial capital of French Louisiana before it was traded to the US in 1803. But it wasn't always a French colony, because it was ceded to the Spanish Empire in 1763 for the Treaty of Paris. France was defeated by Great Britain, followed by the 7 Years' War. So pretty quiet here on Canal Street. Understandably so, it's so early in the morning, but during the middle of the day, this area is bustling with activity. There's still a lot of lights here. The food market, Magnolia Spirits. I have noticed when walking down these streets, especially yesterday when I arrived, that there is a lot of poverty and people in need here. It's very sad to see, but it's always good to keep an eye out for them and support them the way you can, and hopefully society will get better so they can get out from that situation. But the next block is the famous Bourbon Street. But I'll show you I'll tell you about some of the history of the names. Here's one of the streetcars that travels along Canal Street. I learned from a local that the red streetcars are air conditioned and the green ones aren't. The green ones are actually the longest continuing streetcars in the world. Here's a statue of Ignatius J. R. Riley. Just reading the plaque on the bottom there. But this is the Hyatt. But New Orleans is also called the Big Easy, and it was probably a reference by musicians back in the 20th century due to the ease of finding work in the area. I don't think there will be much activity on Bourbon Street at this time of day, but let's see what happens. I know a lot of people are curious to see what happens on Bourbon Street this early in the morning. At nighttime, this place completely comes alive. There's jazz playing, there's people on the streets, all and about, eating around. So you see people getting ready for work here. Actually, this crystal might be open 24 hours. But there is a noticeable presence of litter around the sidewalks. Many famous restaurants are here. So Bourbon Street actually extends 13 blocks from Canal Street to Esplanade Avenue. I'll be walking there today. It's famous for its many bars and strip clubs. Actually, you can see one here. It's not open yet. It's so early in the morning. There's Bourbon House Seafood Restaurant. Maybe we'll get to see some people wasted on the streets today. Bourbon Street is pretty much a big tourist attraction. There were 17.74 million visitors in 2017 alone. Here's the famous Galatories. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's the famous restaurant in the area since 1905. Let me see if I could get a view of the outside from across the street. And there's also Galatours 33 Bar and Steak. Big Easy Daiquiris, the name I was referencing before. We got Trader's Emporium outlet over here. That across the street looks to be a strip club. Another place, the Hunk Oasis male strippers. I'm not too worried about crime right now. Although I do want to keep my wits about me. It's always good to be aware of your surroundings at all times. Like here, there's two people to my right. There's Arnaud's Restaurant, a jazz bistro. There's also balconies here. Famously, during Mardi Gras, there's people throwing beads from the upper levels to spectators on the lower. And I've had heard that the people throwing the beads, that sometimes that there'll be people coming out with those beads and asking people to flash them. So they'll throw the beads and then post the picture on social media. Here's Fox Du Dukes. Royal Sonesta, New Orleans. That's a big, big rat. Oh. Yep. With the garbage comes big rodents. I think I'm afraid of catching a disease from these rats more than getting robbed. Hurricane City. I really hope that whoever is responsible for cleaning this place up for sanitation does it soon, because to leave the streets like this every night, not a good sign for sanitary reasons. Slush pizza by the slice. Mambo's, gumbo, seafood, steaks, oysters, and po' boys. Gumbo and po' boys are the de facto cuisine here, the cuisine that's unique to the area. Now here's a unique way to deal with the rodent problem, to have these bins here. Wow, just cups and litter all over the place. There's a needle there, broken glass. This is what happens after a night of partying on Bourbon Street. Kama Suture Cabaret. The Tropical Isle Hand Grenade. New Orleans' most powerful drink. I've read that a lot of these vendors, when they're out here in full force, they'll just coax people in by challenging them to see how long they'll last, and then they'll just stuff like 2 or 3 hand grenades down their mouth and say, oh, that was like $20 each one. So that's where they get you. Big Easy daiquiris, Chris Owens. Well, there's some music being played, but I think it's from the speakers of this establishment here. No bottles or glass on the street allowed here. Okay, there's people behind me, so just want to be aware of that. If you want beads, you can get a couple of them for free on the floor here. Actually smells like alcohol here. A lot of wine and beer. Four Points Sheraton Hotel, the French Opera House. Here we've got the Tropical Isle Original. Toulouse, one-way street. The whole street smells like alcohol, actually. It's pretty incredible. When I was here last night, I even smelled marijuana, people smoking it outside, out in the open. It's also legal to open drink here. You can have your drinks in a plastic cup. Crazy corner balcony. Does look like a crazy corner to me. Here's another house that looks historic. This is one of the containers for the hand grenade. So, Mason Bourbon, Preservation of Jazz. Just ignore and walk away. And I'm looking behind to see if anyone's following me, which they aren't. Bourbon Heat Grill Club. I smell vomit on the sidewalks and streets here. Tropical Isle, Bourbon Street. When I have random people coming up to me making random threats like that, I get immediately very sketchy about the area. House of Voodoo. This is one of the haunted houses, I believe. New Orleans is also famous for haunted houses. This part of Bourbon Street is closed for reconstruction. A lot of the infrastructure needs to be redesigned here. This is an area where I'm very wary because you never know who's hiding behind one of those buildings to the left and jump me. No one's following me now. Nice sunrise up ahead though. I do wish that I walked on the other side of the street so you'll see like more businesses, because I see like a couple there. But I believe I will be passing into Upper Bourbon Street soon. I just came from Lower Bourbon Street. Upper Bourbon Street is known more for the gay community. So my recommendation for you, if you come to this area, don't come during sunrise on Bourbon Street because there'll be some shady characters around here. Here's Dumaine. Looks like this news cruise here actually, and awesome, they got some sanitation going. Although I don't know how that will work with the streets blocked off like that. Hey. So let the street sanitation go by. I'll wait here till they pass it. I don't want to breathe in all that stuff. Here's a nice little red house. Interesting architecture here on Bourbon Street. Another note about crime and safety. I did find an excellent YouTube channel. Their name is Active Self-Protection. They have a lot of great tips on dealing with dangerous situations with real-world scenarios. This is La Reef's Blacksmith Shop, a very famous store in the area. I think it's has its roots back in the 1800s. Oh, I just saw another rat at my feet. Now this is the quieter part of Bourbon Street. I do feel a lot more safe in this section compared to the lower section. There's less people around, and this is the way it should be at sunrise. But if I was to do that walk again down Bourbon Street, there's no way I'm doing it unless I had someone else with me. I was genuinely nervous back there. Jezebel's 1041 Bourbon. Looks like a adult shop. Very, very beautiful clouds. I just wish the sun was shining. Okay, there's a car behind me, but no people as far as I'm concerned walking behind me. It's very quiet here. Another thing too about Bourbon Street, there's a lot of jazz bands and music that plays. It has had a history of having a lot of noise complaints, and the city enacted some laws against them. But a lot of people say they're unjust because Bourbon Street defines the character of the neighborhood. And without its music and entertainment, it wouldn't be the tourist attraction that it is. So to take that away would be taking something away from the community. What I am going to do is once I get to Esplanade Avenue, I'm going to make a right and then head up Frenchmen Street. That's not in the French Quarter, but I know it's a popular street for the locals, and it will be very interesting to see how people react and work at that time. I do hope that it's better maintained than Bourbon Street. Oh, spooked me there. I thought it was a haunted house or something, but it was someone trying to get their door open. Anyway, Frenchmen Street is known for the locals to hang out and eat. That's where a lot of the live music plays, the real like professional jazz musicians. Then once I'm done with Frenchmen Street, I'll see how I feel, and then maybe go down Decatur Street back to Canal, or I may take a streetcar. You see, most people here don't go in this quiet neighborhood. Okay, so when the Spanish owned Bourbon Street from 1762 to 1803, it was Calle de Bourbon. Hope I'm saying that right. I'm just glad it didn't rain at this time, because there were threats of rainstorms throughout this entire week. And from what people are telling me, that's kind of the norm during the summer. It will be have sunshine in the morning, and then it will rain in the afternoon for 2 or 3 hours, and it will stop for the day. That's how it works down here. But yesterday when I arrived, it was very comfortable. There was no rain at all. Take a look at this old street sign. with the tiles. Here's Esplanade Avenue, which I assume is a quiet residential street. Quiet residential street and a main artery through the area. Some very interesting trees here. I think some are even palm trees. There's also a middle section of the street you can walk on, although it doesn't look like it's paved at all. You have to walk on the dirt. There's the New Orleans Police Department. I feel safe when I see them around. They're just patrolling the area. Here's Royal Street. This is a street I originally wanted to make a right on and head back towards Canal. But after what I experienced on Bourbon Street in the lower part, it being only a block away from Bourbon Street, I don't want to walk back to that area. Worst thing that can happen is walking down an area you're unfamiliar with and then you get assaulted and in a place you don't know. I don't know how the traffic is on this street during midday, but it's very peaceful here now. Very, very peaceful. Chartres Street. The city's sanitation crews are still working. I should tell them to go on to Bourbon Street. Frenchmen Street's only a block away. Right now it's 6:30 a.m. and I started this walk a little bit before 6, I believe. Didn't take too long to walk through that area. The sun is officially rising in 2 minutes at 6:32. Something I'm actually very happy about. I think someone just threw up in a plastic bottle there and put it to the side. Disgusting. Okay, here's Frenchmen Street. and I like it. This guy's cleaning the sidewalk. I just saw a cyclist behind me too, cycling up Esplanade. I can tell you I like this area a lot better than Bourbon Street. Smelling soap is a lot better than smelling alcohol and disposed food. I don't know how far up Frenchmen Street I'll go. Good to see pigeons in New Orleans as well, New Orleans. Here's 30 degrees negative 90. I assume that's the longitude and latitude for New Orleans, but interesting business name. Blue Nile, which I heard is a really great local spot for people. Favela Chick Pizza Tacos. Here's Willie's Chicken Shack and New Orleans' famous fried chicken. Dat dog, that business color scheme looks excellent. And I assume that it's very tasty as well. Grocery and deli not open yet. I can tell the people here work very hard to maintain their businesses and keep things in order. It's a tattoo parlor and piercing. It's a gentleman walking his two dogs there. I don't see too many pets in this area. I think that was the first one. Spotted Cat Music Club, which I know is very famous. Oh, a bicycle shop. Cool. Snug Harbor. Let's take a look at this menu. I'm curious how the prices are. All right, so most dishes are around the mid-20 range for the dinners. So this park at the corner is called Washington Square. Doesn't look like it's open just yet. The gate's closed off. I see another person walking the dog across the street, so that's the second person I've seen. Random chair here with some bungee cords and a cloth. But what I'm going to do is walk over one block to the east, or it would be upriver, I think it's called. I don't know. The way New Orleans does things is so strange. You can't call the directions up north, south, east, or west. It has to be upriver or downriver, and I'm so confused which way is which, because here the Mississippi River takes a turn, so it can really be like either way depending on where you look at it. But on a normal compass, it's east. Here's Elysian Avenue. Very, very wide street. Lots of open space. I feel very safe here just because there's so much room available and I can see everything around me. I still don't see the sun yet. Checking the weather, it's supposed to go up to 31 degrees Celsius today. That's 87 degrees Fahrenheit. A lot of graffiti here on this building to my right. I believe that's the same person walking their dog, and here's why you have to be careful where you walk. This is a very, very big parking lot. I'm not sure what it's used for or which property it's associated with. Probably the people who live here. Could also be a public parking lot too. The city maintains it. I dined at the Royal House yesterday on Royal Street, and that food was so delicious. I even vlogged about it too. I'm going to start editing that video when I get back to New York City. It might even be up by the time you're watching this. But it just surprised me that the sales taxes in Louisiana are so high. So there's a state sales tax of 4.44%. The local tax is 5.25%, so the local tax is more expensive than the state tax, which I find is very, very rare. And not only that, but if you're buying prepared food and beverages, you have to pay an additional tax of 0.75%. So in total, all that added up together is 10.44% tax. That's way more expensive than a lot of places around the country and United States, and even New York City, which has a combined state and city tax of 8.875%. So here's a parking machine. 2-hour parking machine. It doesn't really say what the rate is. See a lot of people here cycling. It's a nice place to go cycling, very quiet. Oh, the sun's just coming up now. Too bad it's blocked by that fence. Here's the streetcar trolley station. The French Market station. Most of the French market isn't open right now, I assume. Oh, speaking of streetcar pricing, it costs $1.25 per ride, and you should yield to the right of way for me, but that's why I'm looking all around me. I'm an experienced walker. But anyway, it's $1.25 a ride for the streetcar and $3 for an unlimited pass for 1 day. And there's no discounts on the unlimited rides depending on how many days you purchase, unlike in New York City. So here's some interesting information on Fort St. Charles. Hotel de la Moyne. Decatur Street is the next street to the left, so I'll take that down back to Canal Street. That gentleman is still pressure washing the sidewalk. Oh boy. Something I don't like to see, and I'm going to walk around them. Very, very sad, I tell you. But I wish that everyone in need here and sleeping on the streets and are mentally ill, that they get the help they need and can be put back into society and assisted. Even that person who threatened me to take my camera or beat me up. But I think I'll end this video walk here. I'll do a separate video for Decatur Street and Canal Street. My battery's almost up anyway. But if you like this video, give it a big like, because I went through some definitely dangerous areas. Subscribe for some more adventures, and I'll see you all next time.